Okay, so my name's Tina Lashmore.
My name's Ashburn Holder.
My name's Michael Bacola.
My name's Anuja Prasher.
So I think it's really important that all of us get out there and vote to stay in the EU. There's going to be a range of reasons. There's going to be economic ones, there's going to be social ones, there's going to be cultural ones. And for me, in my life, coming from a disenfranchised background, access in education was a challenge. And we're now at a time where our university fees are about £9,000. We've got fantastic universities here, but we've also got fantastic universities in Europe, which we can also access. And we don't have to access them with £9,000 a year fees. So if you want to be an engineer, you might want to think about going to a university in Manchester, or you might want to think about going to one in Germany.
All my life, from the time I sort of left school and I left college, university, I thought the only way to make a difference and make a change is get into business. So if I get involved in businesses, our younger generation can see that, and therefore they can sort of actually get involved in business and actually make a change for society. Staying in Europe is very, very important. Our future as an ethnic minority, or as BMEs as a whole, the market to stay in Europe is so important, it's so vast. When it comes to businesses, we've got a world of opportunities, whereas if we stay out, we are isolated.
For me, the EU is mirroring the formation and the development of transnational organizations, whether they're business, whether they're crime, whether they're terrorist organizations. Everything is operating at a transnational level in the 21st century, which is part of globalization. And the EU is the only governance formation that can actually deal with these kind of transnational bodies that are emerging.
I mean, what we're talking about here is really around about employment rights and why I think that employment rights are so vital to the ethnic minority community. Most of us come from backgrounds where, sadly we find ourselves in low-paid work, and as a result of that, it's really important, to have an EU that legislates to protect our rights as a whole community.
When I hear in my communities and ethnic minority communities generally, once I hear people talking about the options that are available, so I don't have very much and I'm going to take a holiday in the UK. Actually, I don't have very much, but I can also take EasyJet into Europe for the same price.
If we stay in Europe, we can see the black businesses can expand abroad. We can see better advantages. We can see a wider diversity where we all can achieve a better and expand worldwide. Expand not only to America, expand it to Germany, not expand it to France, etc., etc. Especially, we can actually export all our good and experiences into the developing country.
The other thing that I'm really concerned about for the communities is that should we Brexit, what the Brexit argument based on immigration, it ratifies and validates this idea of insiders and outsiders. And no matter how many generations of my children or my grandchildren are born in this country, they will always be seen as outsiders. So this becomes an ossified narrative, which I think is very, very dangerous.
There are huge issues to discuss when we're talking about the migrant crisis, for example, that's taking place at the moment. I think it's really important that Britain is absolutely front and centre in dealing with the migrant crisis. We've got a pivotal role to play, a leadership role, in terms of ensuring that there is fairness and equity across all sides.
Stronger in!